Now on Studio G, the Mandalay Bay suite used in the 1 October shooting remains empty. We have the details surrounding what Mandalay Bay plans to do with the room.
Plus, we sit down with Desiree Petersen from Shade Tree to discuss their resources and with Deputy District Attorney Michelle Sudano to talk about laws regarding domestic violence.
And we'll give you a look at what the rebels have been up to this week.
Don't go anywhere. Studio G starts right now.
Good afternoon, Rebels, and welcome back for another episode of Studio G. I'm Caitlin Knapp.
And I'm Brianna Haney. Thank you for tuning in.
Brother of Stephen Paddock, Bruce Paddock, was arrested in North Hollywood Wednesday morning on charges of child pornography and sexual exploitation of a minor. He allegedly possessed over 600 images of youth pornography from January to August 2014. NBC News reports that Paddock has a criminal record with a history of vandalism, theft, and other crimes dating back to the 80s. The Mandalay Bay room used by mass shooter Stephen Paddock will stay empty. MGM Resorts says it has no plans to rent out the room on the 32nd floor. However, they did not say if the room will be used for something else or marked as a memorial. Some employees speculate that the room could be used for storage.
A data analytics company linked to Donald Trump's campaign apparently went to WikiLeaks for dirt on Hillary Clinton during the 2016 election. Sources told CNN that last year the CEO of Cambridge Analytica sent an email to several people, including a top Trump donor. In the email, he says he emailed WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to ask for access to the emails from Clinton's private server. Assange confirmed the request on Twitter Wednesday, but claimed WikiLeaks rejected it.
Very significant report because it shows, again, as part of a pattern, that the Trump campaign, in effect, was reaching for derogatory information on Hillary Clinton. And the pattern includes that June 9th meeting with Russian foreign agents attended by Donald Trump Jr. and Jared Kushner and the then head of the Trump campaign, Paul Manafort, in response to an offer of dirt on Hillary Clinton. So it is part of a pattern. Cambridge Analytica may not have been a direct part of the Trump campaign, but it certainly was hired by it. And there were also other Trump associates who were reaching out as well.
Former White House Chief Strategist Steve Bannon was the vice president and secretary of Cambridge Analytica until he stepped down to run the Trump campaign. The NAACP warns black passengers of reports of disrespectful behavior from American Airlines. On Tuesday night, the NAACP issued a travel advisory that stated the organization has seen a, quote, pattern of disturbing incidents reported by an African-American passenger specific to American Airlines. The NAACP says it appears that the airline may have a, quote, corporate culture of racial insensitivity and possible racial bias. Shannon Gilson, a spokeswoman for American Airlines, says the company is committed to providing a positive, safe travel experience for everyone, and that members of the NAACP will be invited to discuss the matter at the carrier's headquarters in Fort Worth, Texas.
2 new women have come out accusing Harvey Weinstein of sexual misconduct. Dominique Hewitt and Mimi Milani both shared similar stories of Weinstein forcing sexual acts onto them during their work relationship. Hewitt spoke at a press conference and shared her reason for taking action.
because I feel that a lot of people have told their stories, and I had a similar experience. And it's just a shame that this industry is very full of this kind of behavior. And I really wanted to share my experience because, you know, to help the harassment kind of come to an end.
Multiple celebrities have been vocal against Weinstein since the allegations started. Former late-night host David Letterman spoke out about the importance of holding people accountable for their actions.
A lot of people do bad things, and when you hurt people, you have to make up for that. And when we see people hurting other people, everyone needs to relearn basic lessons about life.
Weinstein spent a week in rehab and is said to be working on his anger and sex addiction with doctors.
On Instagram, actress Heather Lind said former President George H.W. Bush touched her from behind and whispered a dirty joke to her while they were posed for a picture in 2014. Lind has since deleted the post. The former president's spokesman, Jim McGrath, issued a statement saying, quote, President Bush would never, under any circumstances, cause anyone distress, and he most sincerely apologizes if his attempt at humor offended Miss Lind.
It's time for a break, but when we come back, we'll give you an update on what's happening around campus. Stay tuned.
As far as Studio G, at first it looks overwhelming, and at first it looks like it's a lot of work, but I'll tell you what, it's the most beneficial class I've had at UNLV to date, without a doubt. You get to not only develop stories and work on your interviewing skills, your editing skills, and your shooting skills from a camera perspective, you get to work on all the equipment that's in the studio. So you're working on audio, you're working on directing, tech directing, you get to produce your own show. You can take a 30-minute newscast and make it your own. And that's really cool about Studio G. Like I said, a lot of it seems overwhelming at first, but it is by far the best class I've taken at UNLV since I've been here.
The station's great. You make friends, you gain skills, you learn how to do all this stuff with audio. It's a fantastic thing.
I can grow with everyone, and everybody supports me as well as I can support them.
I think it's great. I think it's a blessing to have this kind of equipment from the Green Spun family as well as the state of Nevada.
And it's really informative to see, how a radio show really works.
Now that I do it, I have friends, I have people that want to hang out, and I get to play music a lot.
It's very good too because we have all the top-of-the-line equipment to work with and students here that can help you out, so it's a very, very good way to get involved in the radio.
Now it's time for this week's Rebel Roundup. Bail for 21-year-old Jawan Washington. The local man accused of forcing a UNLV student into her own car and sexually assaulting her was set at $1 million. The judge called Washington an extreme danger to the community, then sided with the prosecution on the bail amount. Investigators are connecting the 21-year-old to at least 3 other violent crimes. The Undocu Network is hosting Nevada's first Undocu Week with a week-long schedule of events dedicated to celebrating the contributions of undocumented immigrants. Students are encouraged to attend and learn about activism, advocacy, and community resources, and to engage in community healing. If you want to know more, check out the UNLV Undocu Network page on Facebook. And on Wednesday, UNLV's Reb and Spectrum hosted Drag Bingo in the Student Union. Shangela of RuPaul's Drag Race, who will soon compete on the 3rd season of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars, hosted the game, performed, and held a meet and greet after. Today, the UNLV student chapter of the Society of Professional Journalists is hosting a brown bag social hour from 12:45 until 2:15 this afternoon. And later on tonight, the Expresser presents the October Talent Showcase in the Student Union Courtyard from 4 to 6 p.m. With
ex-MMA fighter War Machine now in prison for abusing her, Christy Mack has dedicated her time to advocating for domestic violence awareness. She made an appearance at a recent UNLV event, and Studio G reporter Annabelle Rocha was there to get the story.
Every year, CARE Advocates host Take Back the Night in honor of domestic violence awareness. This year, the event is called Remember My Name, Hear My Voice, and speaker Christy Mack showed up to share her experience with the crowd.
When I share my story now, I know it is for a purpose. I know it is for a reason. And I know I have the support of hundreds of thousands of people out there. And I want everyone to know that they also have this support system. That it is important to speak about this. That every story is meaningful.
Max sat with a group of students outside the SU. She told her story and listened to others tell theirs. She says this is an important part of what she does.
There was a good conversation started among several people, and that's very important to me, to really just have a dialogue back and forth. I don't want to sit here and preach to people and just tell them about myself. I think it's very important to have others speak about their experiences and let them know that their experiences are valid as well.
As a Las Vegas local, Max said she was happy to speak at UNLV.
This is my community. This is something that I take pride in. This is where, I have my own experiences with domestic violence. So to make any of those changes in my own community is extremely important.
CARE Advocates closed the event with a memorial for each of the victims of domestic violence who were killed in Nevada last year.
7, Linda Wise, age 53, Natalia Cruz Tiatenchi.
For more information about resources available at UNLV, contact CARE Advocates. For Studio G, I'm Annabelle Rocha.
Mack is now enrolled at Penn State studying law and society to further advance her advocacy. Now it's time to take a look at our weather. Joaquin, how does it look out there?
Good afternoon, folks. My name is Joaquin O'Malley with your weather forecast. Taking a look at Las Vegas today. Right now, we are at 64 degrees. Today, we're going to be at a high 87 degrees and a low of 60 degrees. Now, it's nice and warm out there, so definitely utilize the warm weather that we have right now before it starts getting down and getting lower temperatures this upcoming week. But it's nice and sunny, so nice and warm to do outside activities. Now, looking at the weather around the valley right now, we're going to be in the 60s. The low point will be in Boulder City at 61 degrees, and the high points will be over here at Centennial and Summerlin at 69 degrees. But we are going to be in the 60s right now, so it's nice and warm out there. Now, if you're around UNLV campus right now, we are at 70 degrees right now with a visibility of 10 miles an hour. Wind speed will be calm, and the humidity is at 18% right now. And if you're around UNLV campus tonight, the low point will be 62 degrees and wind speeds of 5 miles an hour. Mostly clear, and dew point will be 12. So we are going to be getting some light winds, but nothing too crazy. It's a nice breeze out there. And coming up to the picture of the day. Picture of the day over here. Now, I decided to do a Throwback Thursday on a specific key moment in time. Now, over here, taking a look at this photo from CNN, here we can see two men running down the street, dodging high winds and waves from Hurricane Sandy in 2012 at Marshfield, Massachusetts. This storm killed over 100 people, but what's interesting enough is that this Sunday will mark the 5th anniversary of when Hurricane Sandy hit the U.S. And I specifically picked this photo because we are getting a system that is making its way up the northeast coast right now towards the same direction that Hurricane Sandy hit, but I'll talk to you guys about that in just one moment. But taking a look right now at your 5-day forecast. Now, for the rest of the week, it's going to be in the 80s. The low point will be over here, 60, 58, and 57, and 60. So we're going to be in the 50s and high point in 80s. Now looking at your national weather forecast, as I mentioned before, this Sunday will be the anniversary of Hurricane Sandy, which hit New Jersey, New York area. But what's interesting enough is that we are also getting a big storm that's making its way up the northeast portion as well. Now this storm is carrying heavy rain and high winds. And the only problem that they would be facing is flooding issues. Now this storm is not going to be as strong as Hurricane Sandy, but it is interesting because it is expected to hit New York by Sunday. Now looking over here in Wyoming and North Dakota, they are expecting some snow, which is very different weather, especially coming over here to Southern California, where they are at an excessive heat warning and will be at 90 degrees. But that's all the time that we have today. This is your weather forecast, and we'll be taking a short break. But when we come back, I will be sitting down with Desiree Petersen to talk about the resources at Shade Tree.
This is a 30-minute show that airs every Tuesday evening at 91.5. You're going to hear Dr. Gary Larson along with our regular contributors talking about what matters to our community. And not only what matters, but why does it matter? We look at our community as a whole, but we also pay special attention to what's happening here at UNLV because that's our home as well. So looking at our metropolis through the lens of a radio show really gives us the unique perspective to tell a story through words and through people, and I think it makes for a great program.
Welcome back to Studio G. Now, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and with recent incidents that have happened around campus, Desiree Petersen is here to talk to us about the services Shade Tree has to offer and what you can do if you need to use them. Now, thank you very much for joining us today. I appreciate you coming out here.
You're very welcome. Happy to be here.
Great. So, for the viewers who might not know a lot about Shade Tree, can you talk to me about what is Shade Tree and what exactly is it that you do with the organization?
So my name is Desiree Petersen. Once again, I'm a victim advocate. So I work with clients that are coming in, women and children that are coming in due to victimization, domestic violence, human trafficking, labor trafficking, sexual assault. Those are the clients that I work with. And Shade Tree is a shelter for homeless women and children. So not just due to victimization, but clients that come in due to economic hardships.
Right. Now, around Las Vegas, there are a lot of organizations out there. So what was it that really influenced you to really be an advocate for this specific cause over at Shade Tree?
Mostly because of the amount of clients that we serve. We serve numerous clients throughout the year, some months more so than others. But basically, the Shade Tree, I'm just so proud of the services that we provide. Not only do we provide just the basic services, but we assist those clients that are coming in for domestic violence or other types of victimization. Maybe that they have animals, they may have pets, they may have cats, dogs, any type of animals. We have Noah's Animal House also on our property, so those women that are coming in that want to bring in their animals also, because we all know they're like members of the family, we also provide services for the animals. They can be there with the women and the children. So mostly I'm proud of all the services that we do provide, any type of services related to domestic violence, helping with restraining orders, securing just safe shelter for these women and children, assisting with housing, employment, anything that we can do to help these women and children exit the Shade Tree, being self-sufficient, safe, and ready to start their journey of healing.
And, you know, being over at Shade Tree, what were some cases, some stories that you've heard that, you know, came in and just took your breath away, just hearing of some of the stories that some of these women may have gone through? Was there a specific story that just really blew you away, just hearing it?
Well, I've been a victim advocate with the Shade Tree for almost 6 years. So I see so many stories, I hear so many stories. These women come in and share with me, sometimes for the first time. Sometimes these women have not shared their stories with anybody. So I do hear a lot, and they're all tragic. They're all very, very sad. I have had women come in sometimes with families, children as young as newborns all the way up until high school children, sometimes families the size of 7 that come in. And so just to see their faces when they're first entering, their faces, the look of fear, not sure what tomorrow is going to bring. Right. So just hearing the stories of the families that are devastated because of domestic violence, maybe the children that have witnessed violence in their homes, those usually stand out to me because, you know, the women are innocent, but the children are definitely innocent. And just to see them uprooted for, you know, victimization reasons is just very, very heartbreaking.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming out here and speaking with us, especially because it is an important issue, especially to put more awareness during this time. But if you would like to know more, you can also visit their website at www.theshadetree.org, or you can call the number on your screen. Now we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, I'll be sitting down with Michelle Sudano from the District Attorney's Office. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
We are member supported. KUNV 91.5, The Source. Here's why you should become a member. Become a part of the public radio family while keeping jazz alive in Southern Nevada. Every member receives a discount card to businesses and restaurants around the valley, along with a premium of KUNV branded items. Exclusive access to KUNV ticket giveaways for concerts and events, and private members-only events with prominent musicians such as Paul Taylor, Vincent Ingala, and many more. We are 91.5 The Source, and that source is you. So become a member today.
My name is Walter from Deep Thought.
My name is Bruce Gill. I'm the host of La Alternativa.
Perfect Music Radio with me, Lily.
My name is Sam, and I host Sunday Evening Jazz.
I am Rockin' Gemini.
This is Jalen Young on More Than Music Mondays.
And listen to us on the Rebel HD2.
Welcome back. I'm joined by Deputy District Attorney Michelle Sudano, who is here to talk about the legal side of domestic violent crimes in Clark County. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with, what are some cases that would be considered under domestic violence? What are some situations that would go under that?
So it's not just the physical violence that we see. We see a lot of sexual abuse cases as well. We see emotional abuse cases, things where we've got stalking cases. We'll have sometimes people break into a residence of somebody that they used to date or that they have children in common with. So the domestic violence umbrella really focuses on any sort of crime where the people had some sort of a romantic relationship or a familial relationship.
Right. And what advice would you give someone that may be in a domestic violence situation? What advice would you give them?
So the easiest answer is always, call the police, make sure that you're safe and get the police involved. But we understand that there are circumstances sometimes where people don't want the police involved if they're frightened of an abuser or if there are children in common, they don't have the financial means to go out and start a life on their own. There are a lot of reasons why people might not want the police involved. So it's just important to find somebody that you can talk to. Shade Tree and some of the other shelters are great resources. They have counseling agencies. They can help people get out of those situations. And if that's not something that someone's comfortable with, just talking to friends or family and making sure that they're not isolated is really important as well.
And what would you tell someone who is scared to take any legal action in fear of, them not winning the case? What advice would you give those individuals?
So that can always be a concern for people, but at the end of the day, if they don't start taking some action and start standing up for themselves and their children and their families, domestic violence isn't something that happens one time. It's something that continues and can increase and get more severe as time goes on. So we want people to be aware of that it's not just something you can sweep under the rug and ignore. You really need to address it when it starts.
Yeah. And, you know, domestic violence, what was it that really influenced you to really specialize in domestic violence and in this issue?
So the district attorney's office has a number of district attorneys that are specially focused on domestic violence, and it's important because these crimes do affect everyone in our community. There's not one class, one race, one group of people that's affected. It can affect anyone, and they are particularly dangerous, especially if left untreated. So it's important for us to get out and try to get ahead of these cases and get people counseling if that's something that will help them, or in the more severe cases, make sure that the victims and the families are safe.
Right. Well, thank you very much for coming out here and speaking to us on the issue. We greatly appreciate it. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time that we have, but thanks again for coming out here and being here with us. Now we're going to take a short, quick break, but when we come back, we're going to take a look at what Opportunity Village has going on for Halloween.
Your community's farmers market. Welcoming, lively, friendly. A place where neighbors and friends come together to celebrate their community. With over 50 vendors, organic, sustainable, fresh produce are available just for you. Support and buy local at Fresh 52.
Boy Miles Low.
It's your girl, Scribe Cash.
My name's Fabian Stefan.
Perpetual Player One.
And I'm your host, Brandy the Prince Madison.
My name is Haley Rogers.
From the Miles Low Midweek Show.
The Scribe Cash radio show.
You can listen to Pixel Jam.
Press start to play.
And this is The Takeover.
Rock on Rebel.
On KUNV HD2.
From the RebelHD2.com.
Welcome back to Studio G.
Get your wallets and tissues ready because rumor has it Adele is coming to Las Vegas. UK tabloid The Sun reported on Sunday that the Wynn Las Vegas is in talks with Adele for a year-long residency. With an offer of $26 million per year on the table, Adele would become the highest paid resident in Las Vegas. Although fans are hopeful, a Wynn spokesperson says that they have not yet had discussions with Adele about the residency. Las Vegas entertainers will be taking the stage on November 5th for a special concert to benefit the victims of the October 1st shooting. The concert will take place in the Venetian Theater from 1 to 4 p.m. The tickets are being sold for $30 and can be purchased from the Venetian or the Palazzo. The lineup of performers includes Britney Spears, Chris Angel, and the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Next week, join us for the October 1st Remembrance Ceremony on November 2nd, taking place at the Alumni Amphitheater.
Halloween is on the horizon, which leaves some people looking for ways to celebrate. Studio G reporter Kaylene Talons visited Opportunity Village's Halloween to see what they have to offer.
The most spookiest time of the year is slowly approaching, but Opportunity Village is allowing friends and families get a head start in the Halloween spirit.
So about 3 or 4 years ago now, we sat there thinking we have this beautiful magical forest space here. Of course, we've had the magical forest for now 26 years, including this year. And we thought, you know, can we utilize it more? What can we do differently? What can we do during the fall season? And kind of thought about it, and why don't we do a Halloween event? So why don't we flip this place upside down, orange and purples, ghouls and goblins, and Halloween was born. So this is our 4th year of Halloween at the Magical Forest.
This event is not just all fun and games, but it's also beneficial.
All the money raised with this event goes directly back into our programs that benefit adults with intellectual disabilities in the Las Vegas community.
Opportunity Village allows people to sign up and become volunteers. I spoke with Donna Hash and asked her how she became a volunteer.
I've been volunteering at Opportunity Village for 13 years. So I've started a long time ago. I've been involved in a lot of organizations in the community, and somebody brought me here. I took the tour, fell in love, and that's how I started volunteering. I like to give back to the community, and so this is one way to do it.
For Studio G, I'm Kayleen Talents.
Halloween runs through Halloween, but if you miss out on the Opportunity Villages event, there will be another event, which will be the Magical Forest.
While Halloween is on Tuesday, we know that most people will be celebrating over the weekend, so stay safe, Rebels. Drink plenty of water and have fun.
See you next week on Studio G. Have a great day, Rebels.